If you want the most out of life, look in the mirror, and if you're not happy with something, something has to change. In order to improve in life, you're going to have to grow and change constantly. But some people don't change because of traditions. Traditions are not necessarily a bad thing, but it can be the enemy of change. Well, what's tradition? Tradition is handing down of statements, beliefs, legends, customs, and information, etc. from generation to generation. In the Bible in Judges 15, 14 through 17, there was a story about Samson. Thereby Samson stood before thousands of Philistines, his enemies. They came with spears, daggers, swords, shields, and horses. Samson looked around and he saw a jawbone of a donkey. He picked up the jawbone, shaking it off the sand. Holding onto the jawbone, he confronted an enemy of 1,000 men. He began to swing the jawbone. Men fell, horses fell. After a few hours of swinging, he stood there alone. 1,000 men lie dead. Samson had just killed 1,000 men with a mere donkey jawbone. What Samson did was extraordinary. It was significant. It was a miracle. However, we come to know that when Samson finished, he threw away the jawbone. If this jawbone was everything it was supposed to be, why throw it away? So let's say if someone's watching this, they see Samson throw this jawbone away after seeing what he did with it. They pick it up, they take it back, they remanufacture many more. They call all of these the Samson might. They trade all of these to more war armies, and they tell everyone, this jawbone can kill 1,000 men. Samson has already proven it. If you use it, you will encounter the same victory and miracle as Samson did. And let's say they continue to pass it down and enforce it as a weapon for the future army generations simply because it worked before. But why did Samson throw the bone away? Because even though the jawbone had worked for him, and it was a miracle, the anointing had left. Now, tradition is not always a bad thing, but it can be a frozen success. Frozen success is something that works for us, we freeze it, and then pass it down to the next generation. We keep traditions because we believe the success inside of the tradition will always work for our children too. However, a tradition is useless if the anointing has left. What worked for you may not work for them. We don't lock ourselves in the tradition itself because the tradition is just a vehicle for the flow of the anointing. It's the anointing that brings the success, not the tradition. Just like we don't look at the blessing itself, we look at the blesser. God is our blesser, the source, the cause, the reason for the blessing. The blessing is an expression of His love, just like success is an expression of the anointing. And tradition is simply the vehicle for that anointing. When Jesus came, He destroyed a lot of traditions set up by the Pharisees. Why? Because there was no anointing left in those traditions. He knew that the traditions themselves had no value because there was no anointing in them. In life, people like to keep things that worked previously and were successful to them. But we must ask ourselves, is the tradition hindering our growth? Has this tradition become an enemy of change? Is it suitable to keep this tradition, or is it a good time to embrace new change? And most importantly, is this tradition still anointed by God today? Thank you for watching, and subscribe to our channel. And of course, don't forget to give a thumbs up. Don't forget to share with your friends. Share the inspiration. Hit that notification bell so you know when we upload more videos. Thank you again. See you next video.